This is Noche Galactica. I'm Poeta Galactico, and we back with another episode about redefining success. Today, I know I would say this. I have a triple special guest. Is my former student. Met my student back in elementary. Shout out. She graduated last year, but I'm gonna just have her introduce herself. Tell us where you're from, what you're doing nowadays before we dive into this conversation.
Hello, my name is Tanya. I'm currently a student at Cal State East Bay. I was raised here in Oakland, but I was born in Michoacan.
Let's go, Michoacan in the building. We out here. And the reason why I asked Tanya to join us in this conversation as a former student and current college student, we wanted to talk about what success looks like, specifically when you come from East Oakland, and I know you're going to represent everybody in East Oakland, but you've been living in East Oakland since you came from Michoacan. And I wanted to ask you this question. First of all, I also just want to name that I have seen you grow as an amazing human being to who you are now. And I feel like that is what we're trying to create with this podcast and this platform. Tell us what success looks like for you in this current moment, or it can be maybe in the past, but tell us.
Success for me is a journey. It's not a destination. I believe that everyone that considers success thinks that, just because he has a lot of money, that's success, but it's not. Success for me is like where you come from and what lead you to be where you are now, like your story. Another thing for me, I would say success is being bold, having courage to do things out of your comfort zone. I feel like that's what success means to me.
Amazing. And today you are being bold and finding success on being in this podcast, right? Because I know you were like nervous. What is this going to look like? So kudos to you for diving in and trusting us. So I want to touch a little bit more about what success looks like, right? You mentioned that success is like where you come from, knowing your story. You mentioned that you came to the U.S. at a young age from Michoacan. At what point in your life you start feeling like, I know what success looks like because where I come from?
So, for example, I am a child of 9. I'm the first person in my family to graduate high school, which for me that's success because I know my 9 siblings were not able to graduate due to like having to pay bills or having to work and support themselves. For me, I feel like yes, it was kind of hard, but I feel like my parents motivate me more because they were able to graduate from high school. Yeah.
Amazing. Shout out to the family. Shout out to the parents out there. And like we were saying, this is a podcast dedicated for people who are in the trenches, specifically those in East Oakland, and are finding their path to find success in this world. The next topic I want to talk about is a little bit of your success story, right? What is a success story that you feel like this is on some dark days, right? We all have those days where maybe we don't want to get up from bed. Maybe it's like it's hard. What is a success story that you go to help you to get that fire in your belly and go and conquer the world?
I feel like my success would be graduating from high school because I feel like that's what's motivating me to keep going, not only for myself but also for my future. I feel like, for example, in high school, I was scared. My first 2 years wasn't the best, but from that 2 years of not being the best made me motivate myself, to continue and push myself out of my comfort zone because I am a very shy person and I don't really like talking to a lot of people. But I feel like that 2 years for 11th and 12th grade motivated me to continue going out to myself. For example, I joined this program called CHAMPS. That program motivated me to be who I am recently right now, which is become a public health administrator. And I'm excited because I first wanted to be a nurse, but that didn't work out because nursing is not for everyone. I feel like I want to help people, and I feel like being in public health made me motivate myself more because there's a lot of issues out there that no one really talks about. For example, mental health. I feel like for me, for right now, I'm in college, but I'm battling right now depression. It's hard, trying to get out of bed. But I feel like that depression is making me, motivate myself to be at least something in life and continue my path and becoming a public health administrator. Yeah.
Appreciate you. That was deep. That was powerful, and I really appreciate you highlighting mental health as one of the components that is keeping you motivated in life and kind of pursuing stuff. A lot of times, I think, and feel free to disagree, but I think when you grow up in environments where mental health is not talked about, like for example, I feel bad, then your mom or your dad is like, "Oh, sigue echando ganas, you're gonna be okay," but we don't really name that. Sometimes I just don't feel like moving any part of my body, but a lot of times we minimize that because we trying to find this, success, this whatever that is, right? And I just want to highlight that you name that and you are working towards changing that narrative. That's big and impactful. Anything else you want to share on that before I ask one more question?
Another thing I would say about depression is that depression could be two ways. Depression could be a motivation, and depression could also be something that's carrying you down, not to be where you want to be. I feel like in my household, I feel like depression doesn't really exist. Why? Because it's like you're not going through what I'm going through. Like for example, my parents. I feel like my parents don't really see that their student, well, not their student, but their child is going through it. Why? Because they don't believe that depression exists. And that's one thing that I wish I could change in their perspective about depression, because depression is big. A lot of people don't really talk about it, but depression is hard.
Depression is a real thing. I also feel like it's been a pandemic before the COVID pandemic happened, right? Thank you for sharing some light on that. I want to ask you just really quick, outside from like your family, your own will to like make a change at an early age, right? I know you for a really long time. We had some of the most like difficult and big conversations. I think alongside your family, myself, about your young teenage years. What were some things that would cross your mind around like maybe like stopping going to high school? What kept you going to like finish that up outside from your family?
I would say myself, because I've noticed how my siblings don't know what they want to be yet, even though they're already like way older than me. I've noticed how like my siblings are just stuck, like they don't know what to do, like they don't have motivation to continue, and I want to make that change. Like elaborate more.
Yeah, no, that's great. I think on that topic, right?
Yeah.
I mentioned to you, I think last time I told you that we're starting this program called Camino Program, Find Your Path. And this Camino Program, Find Your Path, is dedicated for people maybe like your siblings, right? Maybe like my homies, maybe like myself, who sometimes we hit a certain age and we like, I've been working all my life, but never prioritize what is it that I want to learn and actually do it with a purpose, right? I think when I'm hearing your story is that I decided to be a nurse, but maybe it wasn't for me. So now I'm taking this public health route. And that's helping you identify where is my passion and my purpose. A lot of times when you are in different situations, specifically when you come from marginalized communities, you get a job and you're like, oh, this is it. I'm making money. Like, this is it forever, right? But you're going to understand that time goes by. And then at some point you want to make more money. Or you just like tired of the same job, but you're gonna have maybe the study guides or the different, knowledge to move forward. Is that something you agree with?
I agree with that because back to college, there's a lot of seniors in my class that are up to this, like now, they still don't know what they want to be. And it's not scary, but at the same time, it's like they need to find their own motivation, because I feel like they don't have motivation, or they just don't know what they want to be yet. It's okay not to know, because you could go back to like college, even when you're 50s, because he's in my class, he's 65 right now, and he was telling me about like his story of how he wanted to first be a doctor, but it just didn't work out for him. So he went into construction, and yeah, he's happy with construction, but it's just not what he wants to do, because he wants to get paid more. Yeah.
No, it's real. I think when we think about like what we want to do in life, we got to tie it in. Believe it or not, we got to tie it into money, right? And financial stability. I think when you pursue something, like for example, myself, I tell this in the podcast all the time. I started working at Mickey D's, Taco Bell, and like doing all those jobs. And at first I was like, oh, I'm making money. It's set. But when you move out and you realize that is nothing, you like, oh, I can't survive. I'm gonna be in the streets real quick. So you got to make sure you like focus on like what you want to do. It takes time, but you can get there via college or via just grinding it out and learning a different way. Okay. The last thing I wanted to tell you, I think it is more related to like a message to the young girls out there in East Oakland who are listening to our podcast. What is a message you would like to give to them around where you at now, to not give up? Is if it's in life, if it's like maybe you have your own hustle, maybe it's college. Like, what is a couple messages of success that you want them to like take with this podcast?
The first message I would say is that if you have people that are there for you and support you, take advantage of it, because I did not take advantage of that. And now that I'm in college, I was like, damn, I wish I would have taken advantage of those people that were there to support me and was able to, encourage me to continue doing what I wanted to do. And that's a message I would give you guys. Like, be open-minded that there's people out there that actually care about you. Not only the physically, but also emotionally. They would help you out.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Tanya out here dropping game straight from East Oakland. You already know what it is. Last question of the night. What is next for Tanya? Where do I see you in 3-5 years from now?
Well, hopefully in 3-5 years, I've already graduated from college and pursuing my career, which is maybe a public health administrator. I also hope I get to, be able to part of the Camino
program in the building.
I hope I could be a part of that, knowing that even though I graduated, I feel like the Camino program is going to help me be more open-minded about my strategies that I have.
Amazing. I'm sure you're going to accomplish all those things. And the last thing, I think as a side note, is tied into success. What is one coping strategy that you use when it comes to mental health to make sure that you stay on your path?
Well, right now what I'm doing is just writing all my thoughts down. I feel like, yes, for me, therapy helps, but there's just some things therapy can't help. For example, emotionally, like, it's hard to open yourself to a new person that you just don't even know. Like, it's hard opening up. So that's why I sometimes just don't want to take, therapy. But I feel like writing down your problems and everything to a book, knowing that book is forever going to be with you, you should continue writing.
Continue writing. Make sure you journal your stuff. Get it down. Get it off your head, off your heart, so we can keep moving in life. And this is the moment where we give shout outs to anybody out there that you want to plug in. If you want people to follow you, this is it.
Well, I want to shout out Martinez. I feel like Martinez has been my inspiration and continue doing what I want to do, especially because I know Martinez, I was in like elementary. And it's, how do I tell you?
Don't cry now. Don't cry now.
I was telling my fellow friends that I'm proud of Martinez, that he's finally going to be able to pursue his business that he wants to. Like, for example, started off with Swim Good.
Swim Good, you already know.
Not uploading.
We're dropping. We're moving up.
Yeah, you're moving up into something that you want to be. Like, you're going to be happy. Hopefully, you're going to be happy with this business. And hopefully it goes good.
I appreciate you. Thank you for the flowers. Thank you for the energy. I think it's what the world needs. I think we are here vessels to support one another. And we got to put the energy with the people that we want to support. So
shout out to Miss Vanessa too.
Shout out to Vila from the Valley.
She's my savior right there.
Hey, shout out to your brother that's here. Little brother is in the building. Yeah. Having difficult conversations about success. Just took a picture to post this in the gram. Once again, this is Noche Galactica. You already know what it is. My name is Poeta Galáctico.
My name is Tanya.
And we are straight from Deep East Oakland. You already know what it is.